This is Barbie. I haven't been around for a while. Welcome to Bellspalsy Talk. Today, I'm really excited. We're going to be talking to Dani Ferguson, and she is a fellow Bell's Palsyer, but also an acne nutritionist. So what she does is focus on your inner health with your nutrition and things like that show up on your face. So I'm really excited to invite her now. She's in here with me. Hey, how are
Hi.
you? Nice to finally meet you in person.
Well,
I
yeah,
guess
you
in person.
too. Well, kind of. I feel like this is like the new in person.
It is, isn't it? It totally is. Getting
Yep.
used to all these things, Zoom and everything. Hi to everybody joining us. Hi, so Dani, I'm really excited to meet you. So you got Bell's palsy in 2019, and you're also a nutritionist specializing in acne, cystic acne, which I'm very interested in because I get those nice big ones too. And I've been getting those since high school. And
Yep.
wow, there's something else. So I'm really interested
Yeah.
to hear more about that. So let's start with the Bell's palsy part. So you woke up in 2019. Yay, happy day. Welcome to the club. So how'd it go for you?
It was really weird. So in that time of my life, I was doing a lot of things. I was like trying to do and be everything in every aspect of my life. So I was definitely under stress. Now, if you asked me if I was stressed at that time, I would have been like, no, I'm fine. Like,
you're just used to it.
Yeah, right? I was doing it. Like, I'm one of those who just like, I do things. I like to do things and take action. And so that's what I was doing. And it was weird because looking back, I do think there was this little voice telling me to like slow down, but I didn't listen to it. And so I woke up with full Bell's palsy on Sunday, August 18th, I think it was. But that Saturday I woke up and I was just like, I don't feel good, but I couldn't put my finger on like what was wrong. Like even my husband was like, well, what's wrong? Like, does your head hurt? Are you achy? And I was just like, I don't know. I feel weird. So I got up.
I was like that too, like not really flu-y. Like you would describe it as a flu, but now looking back, it was weird. My ears were itchy. My one ear was itchy inside. Looking back, when I thought, oh, I'm getting sick. And again, like you're saying, like being power people, you're just like, oh, don't have time for this. Like moving on, like, you know, next, right?
Totally. I almost thought mine was like allergies. And I was just like, okay, whatever. And then I got up, made my coffee, and I took a sip of it, and I was like, this tastes weird. Like, and I love my morning coffee. I have this whole ritual around it. I love my coffee. And I was like, okay, that's weird. So that was like another sign. I just kind of brushed it off. And we were talking about going on a hike, and I'm like, maybe we should stop by the pharmacy and just get some like allergy medication to see if that helps. And by the time we like got ready and started to go, I started to notice like a weird tingling in my face. And at the pharmacy that we went to, they have a nurse practitioner at their like little minute clinic. And we kind of like peeked around to see if she was available and just kind of said, this is what she's experiencing. Do you think like Benadryl or something would help her? And she had me do all these like facial movements. And she goes, well, it looks like Bell's palsy, but you'll know tomorrow because your face won't move.
Oh.
And I was like,
thanks.
Okay. And the only reason I knew about what Bell's palsy was is because I had read a book where the author got it.
Okay.
I don't know, probably like a year before that or maybe 6
months ago.
Super
random. So you don't even think. And
when I read it, I was like, oh, that's never going to happen to me.
Well, yeah, you just don't.
So then we ended up still going on the hike, and throughout the day I just felt worse and worse. And after the hike, I just crashed on the couch and like I slept basically the rest of the day. And then the next morning is when I woke up and I was like, yeah, I can't even blink. I can't lift that corner of my mouth. So we did still go to urgent care just to make sure that's what it was. The doctor was like, yep, it's pretty standard. They gave me the typical antiviral and steroid protocol, and I took it. I don't know if it really did anything, but I did take it. I do think because they gave me, from what I've read, a very low dose of
me too. Not long enough.
Exactly. Because my pain level that first week was like oh, like nerve
had
pain. I feel so bad for people who have to deal with nerve pain on a daily basis, because it
Oh
was
yeah,
just,
right.
it
It's
was
just that
so
weird.
excruciating. And I could almost like, I'm a very intuitive person, at least with my own body. And all I could think of was like, it's still inflamed. It's still inflamed.
Yeah.
It's still
Angry,
inflamed.
angry, angry.
And
Yeah.
I even asked for a second round of steroids, or
Yeah, it would be the
cortisone.
prednisone, right? Yeah.
And he denied it. But I am very curious if I would have been on a higher dose for a longer period of time, if it would have gotten my inflammation down quicker, and if I would have like had any difference
Well,
in my
that's
recovery.
what the theory is, right? Is that you and I feel like we have similar levels of healing. Like we still have our mouth and synchronicity in our eye.
Yeah.
And that from the knowledge now, I mean, I'm about 7 years, and the inflammation is what crushes the nerves in there and does the damage. The more damage the nerves have, so the nerves are in a tube, and there's tubes in the tube, and then the nerves. And if the outer tube gets damaged, or the tubes get damaged, the nerves don't know where to grow back. And that's caused by inflammation. Oh, baby's here.
Yes, he's over here.
Everybody who's joining us, Danny's a new mom and killing it, obviously, doing your career and
We're
mom
trying.
and everything, and self-care now.
Yeah.
But anyways, the nerves get crushed by the inflammation, and that's where, if we have longer cycles of prednisone, then that inflammation goes down. So you're totally right, from the education that I've been getting from the doctors that I see now. So that's why, of course, us now, you and I know you're in the same boat as me. It's too late for the prednisone situation. We can still heal and do exercise and physical therapy. But for me, it's really important, and I'm really passionate about trying to get that word out there, so that when somebody does go in, they've even heard of Bell's palsy, like you said, like, hey, Bell's palsy, I've heard of this, my friend had it, I have someone to reach out to, and get those resources like Fix My Face that have been written by educated doctors and practitioners, so that they know and can take it to the doctor. Because a lot of us, 90% of us, of the doctors that you go into, they don't know. And it's understandable, because, if you're a GP, like a regular practitioner, and you have, I mean, I don't know how many patients they would have, say 500 in your practice, and you see Bell's palsy maybe once a year, maybe, you're going to spend your education hours, when you brush up on your skills, learning about the things that affect most of the people in your practice. And that makes sense,
totally.
when we're humans. So I feel a responsibility, and I know you feel the same, that when we have a following and people listening to us on our feeds, that we do have the ability to get that kind of out there, that somebody says, oh, hey, I was listening to this to Danny, and she was telling me about acne, but then I also remember she had Bell's palsy. Let's reach out to her. I mean, that, I think, to me, that's what we can bring to the table.
Totally. I mean, I've had people reach out who follow me for acne, but like a family member got Bell's palsy.
Exactly.
And so you just never know who you're talking to, what they're going to experience. So yeah.
And you can help that way. I think that that's great.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, let's hear about your business. So you've been doing this for a while now. Like, how many years? You've been a nutritionist, I'm assuming that's what you did your schooling and everything in.
So I did, it's kind of funny. My college education is in agricultural business.
It's so funny how life changes.
With a minor in marketing, which, looking back, I took some really cool, I mean, I didn't know where my career was going to go back then, but I did take some really cool classes on how our food is grown and what's used.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Stuff like that I think if I would have been going into that class thinking I'm going to use this one day, I would have retained more of the information.
Always. I'm like that with so much of my stuff too.
So I did that. I looked into switching my major because I got very sick in college. And so I did look at switching my major, but at the point where I was going to switch, I would basically have to just redo all of college. And so my guidance counselor was like, stick with this. You can honestly, as a nutritionist, because I didn't want to be a dietitian. I didn't want to work in the hospital. I didn't want to make food plans for people in the hospital. I wanted to work with clients one-on-one. She's like, it's better to just finish your degree and then go and find a certification in the specialty that you want to work in.
Right.
And so that's what I ended up doing. I found an institute down here in San Diego. I got just kind of my general certified nutritionist certification. And then from there, I've like gone on and done different certifications with different companies, like for gut health, skin health, all the different things that I want to specialize in with finding
that you specialize in.
Yeah. So I got acne, like really bad cystic acne. It was like I always have issues with my face. Why? I don't know. It's the universe trying to tell me something.
Interesting, right? And that's what I do like to talk about is, you know, there's lessons for us to learn. That's what we present to the world. Why did that happen to you and not someone else? Or that combination of Bell's palsy and it's fascinating to me.
I know. I think about it often. And so I got it in my like mid to late 20s. I didn't really deal with it.
Oh, you didn't have it when you were a kid or anything? No.
Not really. So I went to so many different doctors, tried so many different things. The only thing I did not try is Accutane. But nothing was fixing it. And
that's serious stuff.
Yeah, I just was not willing to go down that route. And then I got engaged and I was hell-bent on not walking down the aisle with acne because it was, yes, there was a piece of it that was like vanity of like, oh, I want my pictures to look good and I don't want to be like caked in makeup. And plus like being caked in makeup with the type of acne I had, it just irritated it. It was itchy. It was uncomfortable.
And aside from the fact that it's actually a mountain on your face,
color,
it's not like little guys. It's these big ones. And honestly, I had one in grade 9 and it literally was on the end of my nose. Like I talk about traumatizing. And that was back, like I'm 42. So back then there was no, like now that they can put Botox or whatever in it. I don't know. Right. Oh my gosh, traumatizing.
Yeah.
And you know how also you put makeup on it, but then they get oily. So all the makeup goes.
Totally.
So yeah, for sure. Of course you didn't want one on your wedding.
Yeah. And so I was already a nutritionist at that point. So that was even more frustrating is like, I can't figure myself out. Doctors can't figure me out. Like, what is going on here? And so then I kind of took a step back and assessed all of my symptoms, not just I have acne. I was like, okay, what else am I dealing with? I have chronic constipation. If you would have asked me like, and most doctors said that was normal. I probably went every 5 to 7 days.
And they said that was normal.
And they were like, yeah, everyone's a little bit different. Like, as long as you're not uncomfortable. But I mean, I had been living that way for so many years. I think got used to it.
Sure.
And so that was number one. I was constantly having yeast infections or UTIs. And so they would flip flop me from like creams to antibiotics, creams to antibiotics. I was tired all the time. I had major fatigue. I felt like I couldn't think straight. And so then I finally was like, okay, I need to go to somebody who will listen to all of these things and help me figure out what's going wrong. So I found a naturopath who I went to. He's literally sent from heaven because he spent 2 hours with me, which most doctors, you would go in, bless you, you would go in and they would literally be like, okay, what's wrong? Oh, you have acne. Here's the birth control pill, or here's some antibiotics, or here's 6 different creams. This was a good one from the dermatologist that is going to cost me $1,500 to fill. Oh my God.
And not work. Yeah.
He listened to me and he was like, I totally agree with you. I think it's definitely centered in your gut. I think we need to figure out what's going on there. We did a stool test, came back. I had a massive yeast overgrowth in my gut that was not candida though. So a lot of times we think our acne is associated with candida, which a lot of times it is. Like yeast, fungal, candida overgrowth, and acne are very interrelated. But there's thousands of different types of species of yeast. And so I had this weird type, and luckily with the type of functional test that we did for my gut, it actually takes that specific species and will test it against different natural antimicrobials. So it tested it against like grapefruit seed extract, uva ursi, caprylic acid, all these different natural plant-based supplements to see what it was more susceptible to. So we've all heard of like antibiotic resistant bacteria. There's also different types of bacteria, yeast, fungus that are resistant to like plant extracts as well, because just they learn how to
they're not natural anymore. They're not they've adapted to all the crap that we've been putting in our body, I would assume. Right.
Exactly. And so mine happened to be really susceptible to grapefruit seed extract. So I started that along with some gut healing stuff like probiotics, collagen, stuff to kind of heal my leaky gut.
Mm-hmm.
And once we really started getting the yeast under control, which was about, I would say 2 to 4 weeks, I really started to see my skin clear so quickly, which I had never experienced before. It did get really bad in the beginning when
I was going to say
the
worse.
protocol.
That's what happened when I started clearing out gluten. I had the same heaven sent naturopath as well. And I called him like 4 days later. I'm like, I'm dying. Like, this isn't the answer because I'm supposed to feel better and I'm dying. And he was like, no, it's okay. And I'm like, okay. He's like, just wait 2 more days. And then, of course, then you start to feel better. So, yeah. So, obviously, everything's detoxing out your skin.
Oh, yeah. And it was awful because it was not only like it was coming out of my skin. So, like, that made me like sad and down. Yeah. But I also think it's really like, it was kind of like, I think so many toxins in my body created this like depression state.
Well, yeah, because your body can't, it's fighting, so it's like tired.
Yeah, exactly. It was just like, I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to get out of bed. Yeah. I like didn't want to see anybody. I didn't want to socialize. Yeah. Yeah. But it did get better. And that's what I tell all my clients. I'm like, just push through it. And like, ideally when we start a protocol, if you can do it around a time where you don't have a lot of things going on, you don't have
just try
like events to go to, which these past couple of years have been easy, but now people are like, well, I have this and then this. And I'm like, I would kind of hold off because it really is, it's a detox. I mean, candida and yeast specifically are part of the mold family. And like, we all know, like if you have mold in your house, it's very detrimental to your health. And so if that's living inside of you and off gassing, it's creating a lot of toxins. Yeah, you were saying, I read about it.
Yeah. And then the spores, like you have to get rid of all of it. And that's similar to gluten that I've learned too. It's not right away. So you're like, okay, well, you eat something and then it feeds the yeast or however. I mean, you're the expert, but it's not going to happen right away. It's like 2 weeks later. So you have to really stay on top of it if you want to have the main benefits. Oh yeah. But I would assume that it's just a clean diet primarily, right? No sugar, no white stuff.
That helps in general from coming back. Okay. But that like a candida type diet, which would still address yeast and stuff, that's not really going to get rid of it if it's inside of you and overpopulated. So we are supposed to have some balance of yeast fungal species inside of our microbiome as a whole, because the microbiome is bacteria, yeast, fungus, all different types of cells. But it's when it gets overgrown, it becomes a problem. So you can kind of think of the diet as like somewhat starving it, but you're never going to kill it because other things inside the microbiome are going to continue to feed it. And so really when we have a massive overgrowth, you really want to hit it hard with at least 3 different things. One of them being an antifungal, which is like that grapefruit seed extract, uva ursi, caprylic acid, something like that. Something to help clean it up. So anytime yeast specifically dies, it releases an endotoxin, which is the toxin inside of it.
Oh yeah, because it dies, but it's still there. And
it's still inside of you.
Get rid of it. Yeah.
So you want something to kind of help bind that up. I just like the name of the product that I use just comes to mind. It's like a GI detox. So like it's like a clay almost that binds it inside and also helps pull out like the dead carcass essentially that's inside of you,
cell or whatever.
And then a biofilm buster. So this is one of the pieces that a lot of people miss when doing any sort of candida yeast detox, is they don't go in with a biofilm buster. So a biofilm is essentially this like shield that forms around that forms in our bodies, and bacteria and yeast can hide inside of those to protect itself. So you might be taking the grapefruit seed extract, the caprylic acid, the uva ursi, but it's not getting it because this biofilm is protecting it.
So it doesn't let it in.
it doesn't let it in. It's similar to like an antibiotic resistant bacteria.
Okay.
It'll hide in a biofilm inside of our bodies, and the antibiotic can't get to it.
Okay.
So the biofilm buster helps to obviously bust those
Bust
biofilms open so that whatever antifungal or antimicrobial or herbs or oils that you're using can actually penetrate the candida and or the bacteria, the yeast. I mean, there's a lot of nasty
really,
things that hide in biofilms.
Right? Yeah, like you're saying, like anything really. You know,
Mhm.
of course, you specialize in skin, but
Mhm.
I'm just thinking like anything. I'm not a doctor.
Oh yeah, and I mean,
but like things like cancer cells or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, I've had situations where we start dealing with that candida and we bust biofilms, and then all of a sudden they're like, I'm experiencing these weird symptoms, and it's more like parasite symptoms. Because parasites will hide in biofilms, or maybe they had like mono, for example. Mono lives in your body for the rest of your life once you've had it, but it can get activated when you're under certain stress or when we start detoxing certain things. And so
is that like cold sores too, like herpes virus? Then that would help that too.
Yeah.
So that's interesting because that's a cause of apparently of the Bell's palsy and everything. So just fascinating to me how, like you and I are saying, like everything is tied together.
Yeah.
And I think that that is really important in us chatting a little bit like we have about the connection of Bell's palsy and why, and you know, and that's what I talk about. Like I'm sitting, you know, we all have the viruses in our body. Okay, so from Zolster simplite or whatever virus it is that I had, and you sit, well, I'm sitting beside someone on the train and we both have low immune system and it's both winter and we're both feeling crappy and I get Bell's palsy and you don't. That's weird. So the connection of our whole body. And that's where, to me, I am very passionate about naturopathy as well. Because like you said, they sit down and they say, okay, your body is a machine. You should not have weird, random things happening, right? No. Nicole just said, please save this live. Don't worry, it'll be posted on the feed right after. You can look. There should not be random big moles, lumps growing on your skin that are painful and are like, that's not normal. There is a reason for it. And so where I do believe that conventional medicine and naturopathy, the ideal situation is to work together. Proactively, the naturopath angle for me completely changed my life. And I recommend it to everybody. As soon as I cut out, you know, I stopped eating dairy. I mean, I still eat a little bit, but like dairy and gluten, game changer. I was the same as you. I was like, it was after my second child, so tired, like dead tired, not just tired. Oh, you had a baby, of course you are, but just dead tired. Couldn't. So similar, sounds the same as you. Didn't feel like doing anything. Didn't get like, and just horrible. As soon as I stopped eating that stuff, game changer. And the reason why I also love it, it's not going to hurt you. It's not going to hurt you to go stop eating gluten for 6 weeks. And you don't have to spend all the money at the naturopath. Give it a try. As long as it's not like a lot of supplements, and things can go kind of array, but things like eating it's not going to hurt you to eat a cleaner diet, right? So give it a try, and you know, and that's free. And that's what I love, your message of bringing it all in. And what I love you marrying it with the Bell's palsy situation is, I think it's very important for us as Bell's palsyers to really, of course, take care of our health and self-care, but also focus on everything. We don't need to be, and I know you're the same, is focusing on, oh, my face is weird. I can't move my mouth. I can't, because then what does it do? It brings attention to that. We have so much else. So yes, spend your time on your nutrition and making your skin glow and being more confident. And then it makes the Bell's palsy not as bad.
Totally.
And I just love your message and what you do. And I would encourage everybody to check out Dani's feed, because she does great things, and you have courses and Facebook groups that people can join and learn more about her view and her education on holistic health from the inside out. And that's what I really would like us to be speaking more about, you know, on Bell's Palsy Talk. There's a lot of people and therapists doing great work and spreading the word about stretches and things like that. But people like you and I really specialize in that part, that confidence part. Like, let's help each other get other things going.
Totally. Because even, I mean, I know everyone has varying degrees of healing, but I mean, so many people that I meet, until I tell them my story, they go, I wouldn't even notice.
Yeah.
And we are our biggest critics. I know that. And like, obviously, if I stare at myself and I'm like, okay, well, this eyebrow doesn't raise, like, if I think about it, like this side of my face is always tighter and this and that and da 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 da. But I mean, like you said, it doesn't do you any good. Like, it's just going to give you and get you into that negative headspace. And our thoughts are always what dictate our actions. And so if you're in those nasty thoughts all the time, your actions are going to be just as nasty. And so, yeah, I really want to empower people to feel like they have their own health in control. Because I think we really have given away our ability to know our body and learn about our body and know what it needs to the professionals. And yes, they are professionals. And like, if I break my arm, I'm going to go to the ER. But I think we're given human intuition for a reason, and we have to listen to that. But there's so much noise around us all the time. I mean, even this device that we're talking into right now is like so much noise, but it can be so helpful at the same time.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah, I really just hope to help people, because I swear, and I know like we can't go backwards and I'm not dwelling in the past, but like part of me really wonders, like if I would have like took a step back and listened to that voice in the back of my head that was saying, you need to slow down, you're tired. And I swear
100%.
to you, it sounds crazy, but the words inflammation and immune system kept popping up in the back of my head. And I was always like, oh, I'll be fine. I'll
take a vitamin C. So I'll drink a glass of orange juice. Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah. And so I really want to empower people to be able to not be so passive with their health and feel like they can actually do something. And it's small steps. It doesn't have to be this huge like
ordeal.
Oh my gosh, I have to get rid of this, then this, and this, and I have to do that. And I need a morning routine, and I need like to biohack, and I need to do all these things. You really don't.
You don't.
Like you said, simply doing gluten and dairy for 6 weeks. I mean, yeah, in the beginning, it's going to be hard. Any change is going to be hard, but
yeah,
that is something that is very easy to implement. And like you said, it doesn't cost an arm and a leg.
And I feel like, there was something I was going to say too. I forgot. The empowering, like having the information. That's what I love, because I cleared out gluten, and if I sometimes like, I love ice cream. So it's like, I'm eating that Blizzard. I don't know if you guys have Dairy Queen down there, but like it's happening. So excuse me, I now feel empowered though, that I am deciding to eat this. That is going to make me feel sick. We have made a decision that's empowering. So to me,
yes.
If you're, and I was talking last week with a lady that we're working on the Bellspalsy Summit with, and she was saying, mental health, how she tries to explain it to her patients, is like losing weight. Losing weight is very, very hard, but all the information is out there. So if you want to do it, you can. The information is out there. It's the same as mental health or health in that way. If you decide not to, or other things are a priority, or you're taking care of your mental health first, or that's okay. But like you're saying, getting the information first, learn the information, then make an empowered decision is what I think makes the big difference, right?
Totally.
So
I totally agree. Because I'm the same way. I'm not gonna not eat that. I'm trying to think of what my like vice is. It would be like a banana split, or like a burger, like a fully loaded like burger or something like that. Because for myself, I know how my body reacts. I also have the tools to help my body process these things now.
Yeah.
So like, I know if I am going, let's just say we're going to a dinner party, and there's going to be like an awesome like charcuterie board, and I'm going to have a glass of wine, and I'm going to like eat all the things. I'm going to support my body with digestive enzymes. I'm going to make sure that I give it everything it needs to be able to break down that food as best it can. Is it the most perfect decision for my health? No, obviously not, but it's good for my mental health. You still got to live life.
you still got to live life. I mean, sure, if we lived in the Amazon and only drank purified water and spinach needles, then of course, then our bodies are going to be perfectly fine. But we're not, and we have fun things to enjoy for sure. And that's where I think that I'm really passionate about bringing all that real life stuff in. I do feel like we could talk for 4 years because I feel like you and me have so much in common. But thank you so much for coming on. We're definitely going to keep in touch.
Yes.
We do have the Bell's Palsy Talk Summit, the Beyond Bell's Palsy Summit coming up soon this fall virtually. So I'll definitely keep you posted on that so you can help us spread the word. I'm really excited about it. And I'll let you go because your little guy sounds like he might need a snack.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Everybody who's joined us, it will be posted on the feed right away. And then Danny will send me any links or anything that she has. Everybody have a wonderful day. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.